Hello everyone, it's Fierur here with game 1 in the series between Anthony and Adam. We have Anthony on the left side is playing Tree, while on the right side we do have Adam is playing Faerur. So this will be a Faerur against a Tree matchup. Now before going to the video, again I'd like to give a quick shout out to Team Quickcast for providing these footages to me, for me to be able to do some coverage about it and even commentary on it. Because for those who don't know, I wasn't able to go to the Australian Grand Prix for the first season, but for the second season I will most likely be there. Other than that, let's get back to the game itself. Now, Anthony's playing Dark Tree, pretty much a very common deck you'll be seeing now these days, just for the fact that it can tank a lot of damage, because Faerur should I say, are able to do a lot of damage in the early game and apply a lot of pressure. So to counteract that, you need some way to defend yourself, and obviously your life point most likely will not be enough. So what else can tank the damage? Your deck. So pretty much allowing your deck to take the damage and using the remove pile as your engine or as your second hand, which will allow you to pretty much get a lot of big resonance on the battlefield in the mid to late game. However, in the early game, Tree does struggle with the fact that it can't do much unless the enemy, aka the opponent, are able to push damage in the early game to even trigger off the damage from the tree. The best way to play around Tree decks is mostly people finishing the game off with Faerur's command, give everything piercing and plus 10 damage, and that's one of the big ways to finish the Tree off, because again, Tree cannot win the game unless you deal damage to them, and for them to have access cards in the remove pile, for them the toolbox cards with like remove card, add back to hand and so on, and having like Razard, Aula and cards in the remove pile to be summoned by the Tree. And then we have Adam who's playing Faerur, a pretty common deck in this current format, just for the fact that it's just a very strong swarming deck at the moment, able to produce tokens, swarm with elves, and apply a lot of pressure, because at the moment there isn't a lot of J-Ruler hate, and plus the Faerur able to gain 4 counters, and those 4 counters can become 4 barriers each time you try to target it each turn. So it does apply a lot of pressure to the opponent, and knowing that you don't have to save this 4 barrier, you can also pump up the Resonate or any Elf Resonate / J-Ruler by 300 attack and 300 defense. So killing any Elf Resonate or J-Ruler on the battlefield will be a tough mission for Anthony. Other than that, let's get back to the game itself. Currently life point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000. Adam already have a very strong field already. His J-Roll is really active already with 4 counters, so he can use it for protection or even going for the aggressive damage push out. And then he has another Elf Resident on the field, or 2 Elf Resident on the field. One produces token and the other one resurrects from the graveyard, being 10-10, and each time it declares an attack, you can reveal the top card of the deck, and it is an elf out of the hand, so gaining some hand advantage at the same time. So looking pretty strong at the moment for Adam. So he's trying to push for damage, but again, thanks to Tree's ability, able to tank a lot of those attacks and putting all those cards in the remove pile for Anthony to use later on in the game. At the moment, Anthony's field doesn't look too good. All he has is his Tama and the addition. Now that addition allows him to produce any color he wants by paying 1 resource, and I believe he can banish it to draw 1 card and tap it as well and paying 1 resource, if I remember correctly. So let's see what can Anthony actually do now. He does have quite a bit of cards in hand. He does have 4 resources to play with at the moment. He can pay 3 and play Ala, a very strong card. Ala able to pretty much pay 200 life point to do damage directly to attacking Resonator. So pretty much it will provide some protection. But in comes the True Blade, killing off the Tama, and I'm surprised that he didn't use the Tama to kill the token, cause I'm pretty sure those tokens are on the field still. I'm fairly certain. Looks like he's pumping damage directly to no, he's putting protection directly towards the to the Resonance, so he can't get popped by Ala and attacking again, putting barrier again on top of the deck. Not on top of his resonator. So pretty much Ala's ability is completely nullified, and it's forcing Anthony to take the damage whether he likes it or not. His deck is going out very quickly now. He took 7 damage in the early, he took a 10, another 7, so that's a total of 24 damage he just took. So 24 cards out of the deck. In comes Otherworld, cancelling out the addition. Now that addition is allows his J Ruler to gain flying and +2/+2 as long as it's not bestowed. Is bestowed, I believe he can give it a resonator slash he can give resonator flying and +2/+2, I believe. Attacking directly with the tokens. So not looking too good at the moment. But yeah, Anthony should have sacrificed the Tama to kill off the one of the tokens, so he doesn't take too much damage. Now he's counting his deck, how much cards he has left. I believe at least 20 something cards left in the deck. But we do see Anthony has Final Battle in his hand, so he can literally nuke the field. But however, we are in a heavy cancel format with 4 Otherworlds and 4 Severing in the format. So casting a spell and letting a resolve will be very hard, especially with Adam, who has 2 resources open. Not only that, he does also have the Spirit Stone, so if worst comes to worst, if he doesn't have a Otherworld in his hand, he can tap it to produce 1 green wheel, banish the stone, and also to draw a card, and hopefully he draws into the cancel spell, and if he does, it will save him a lot of pretty much a lot of cards on the battlefield. So let's see now, what can Anthony do? Anthony does have 4 resources. He hasn't tapped his Rule for Stone yet. At the moment, his field is quite empty. He only has Ala as his only defending resonator. And I'm very surprised as well that he didn't block the token with his Ala to defend off. Maybe he's fearing off the double pump from the Faerur? Or is it Faerur? Faerur, sorry, Faerur. Double pump from Faerur from the counter to making it as a 8/8, doing a trade-off. Maybe that's the reason why. But he can pay 200 life point to pop damage directly. In comes the Melfi. Looks like he's passing turn and not tapping stone. So he wants to get something back from his remove pile. Very interesting. But now we do have in comes the Nameless Mist, looking at his opponent's hand. Final Battle, Valentino, 2 Final Battles, and Melgus, and another addition as well. So very good knowledge for Adam, so he can use this as forward advantage. Like, you know what, you have no cancel spell in your hand, I'm going to go for the push, and you have no removal. The only thing you have at the moment is a tree to activate his ability, and pretty much that's all you have. And your deck is pretty low, so I'm going to do a lot of damage. So looks like he's using barrier again to give the elf a barrier, so pretty much he can't use Owl's ability to pay X amount of life points to kill it off, because he does have protection from his abilities. So now let's see what can Anthony do in this point of time. So Anthony is not in the greatest position. Yes, he does have a lot of cards in his remove pile, but it doesn't help him for the fact that he's not in the greatest position. Attack and then milled is sent to the graveyard. Oh, I think Anthony forgot he's supposed to go to the remove pile and went to do the remove areas instead. Activating the tree's ability. In comes the Razard. Not sure how big Razard is. Razard should be at least 1,000 or more. So it will be more than enough to defend it off against the Resonator. But Adam can reveal the top card of his deck to draw a card. So let's see. Looks like he's not revealing the top card yet. So let's see what can Adam do now, because Adam can potentially use like some other cards from his hand to pump up his field, like Rapid Growth and so on. So let's see what can Adam do. to push. Or he can drop another Melfi if he plays more than one card to prevent damage from that Resonator, and pretty much dealing damage directly towards the Razard. And he can push for damage with the Faerur, sorry. No, Faerur? Faerur, yeah, Faerur. I don't know why I'm getting confused with Faerur and Faerur. Don't know why. So in comes a judge doing a ruling. So he's asking for a rule at the moment, but I'm not sure what rule he's asking for. Because I actually moved out the conversations for myself to concentrate at the moment. Currently, life point was 4,000 compared to 3,800. Damage taken by Adam by the timer in the early game. Dropping a Melfi. Did he play more than? Oh yeah, he did play more one card this turn. He played the Nameless Miss. So now no damage is being dealt towards his Resonator. So now what he can actually do is apply the pressure and pushing directly damage towards his Resonator, so leaving Anthony with nothing on the battlefield. He's already down a stone that he should have a stone by now, but let's see. Attacking directly for 800. So let's see, because I don't think he has a lot of cards left in his deck, and swarming the field with a lot of strong elves is pretty harsh, especially in the early game. But let's see what can he do. He declares the block, and he can, he's pushing with the tokens and so on for 200 points damage. Mill 2 cards and 2 more again. Yes, losing more cards each turn. I think he has like 10-ish cards left in Anthony's deck. But let's see what can Anthony actually do. At the moment, Adam does have one open Melfi, so he can potentially drop a cancel spell if he really wants to. But let's see what can Anthony do in this current situation. He might have a lot of life points, so he can do a final battle play, which we saw from the Nameless Miss play, because Anthony did have 2 final battles, so he can actually final battle and pay a lot of life, and yeah. And he's paying the wrong stone. Yeah, he's paying for the wrong stone, I'm pretty sure. It's supposed to be black, but I don't think it really matters, because I think I'm going to undo anyway. He's going to pay 2,000 life to 1,000 the whole entire field. And in comes the Severing Winds to cancel out the Otherworld. And in comes another Severing Wind from Adam, cancelling out that Severing Wind, making it impossible for Anthony to resolve, unless he has another Severing Wind in his hand to resolve at the... If Anthony has another Severing Wind, he wins the battle. Oh no, he doesn't. So not looking too good at the moment. Adam able to prevent his field from getting destroyed by final battle. If the final battle resolved, I'm pretty sure Adam will have nothing left, but he does has the 2 card combo, which is the Otherworld Dream along with Severing Winds. A pretty harsh situation for Anthony at the moment, because he did pay 2,000 life and he's already tapped out. He can't defend everything, and his deck is like 10-ish, so a couple of attacks from the big Resonators is pretty much game. Even if not, Anthony only has 1 blocker and he can defend 1 attack, and the rest will directly go through, and that will be the game. So not looking too good. It looks like it will be a game, and again, tapped out, can't do anything. He can't activate his rules ability because he's tapped out as well. The only thing he has is Razard, and Razard isn't that big or not that big to defend everything. Yes, he decided to scoop it up. So that's the game, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for game 2. Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to game 2 in the series. We do have Anthony on the left side playing Tree, while on the right side we do have Adam is playing Faerur. So this will be a Faerur against Dark Tree, so no substitute ruler, and let's go on with the match. Surprisingly, it looks like Anthony suggests that he wants to go second. He must want that energized very badly. because usually in most trading card games you do not want your opponent to go first, because by going first they have the early game setup, the extra stone. Yes, you might have energize, but that energize is only temporarily, and yeah, it doesn't really help. Looks like Nameless missed the bottle out of the way, and let's see what can Anthony do. Now Anthony's in a lot of pressure at the moment. He must force the game 2 into his favor. If he doesn't, Adam will easily 2-0 him and pushing him not in the best position. So he has to force the game 2 into his favor to force the game 3 in order to make a fair game. So let's see what can Anthony do in this situation. So in comes the Cloud Edition, the Cloud Edition, which allows him to give his J-Roll flying. So let's see. Paying 2 using Heavenly Gust, is it? Looks like it's Heavenly Gust to get rid of the addition. Oh, interesting. Attacking Tama and with Divine Bird, poking some minor damage. So yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment. Again, as I mentioned before in the early of the video, Anthony cannot do much unless Adam push for damage. And at the moment in this current format, Tree is fairly easy to get defeated by Faerur, just for the fact that Adam can slowly say that, you know what, I will play slow, I will drop a lot of elves, and I will Judgment, bring my big dude out, and I'm going to OHKO you in one shot on those lines. And again, Anthony cannot do much unless he has cards in his remove pile, and at the moment he doesn't have any, which is a lot of problem. And there's other ways to beat the deck as well, and maybe Adam plays a tech choice of like Faerur's Command to pump everything 1000 and give everything piercing as well, so that's another way to win the game. In comes Faerur Judgmenting. In comes to be searching for elves, but he will get the 4 counter as well. The 4 counters will allow him to have barrier and also pumping ability as well. So he's slowly setting up his field, putting units on the field, and obviously, as you see on the field already, it's already better than Anthony. Anthony has a Tama and a Divine Bird compared to Adam's J-Ruler and his Revival card from the graveyard, which is, I can't remember the name, but it's a reviving card. Resonator, you pay by tapping 5 elves, you can reserve from the graveyard and so on. Not only that, Adam has a 4 Magic Stone as well, so he can potentially hard cast out Seven Winds, so he doesn't have to worry that his opponent playing like Final Battle and he doesn't have Otherworld in his hand. He can just like have a hard cast out the Seven Winds to stop that card from resolving. So let's see now, what can Anthony do? Anthony has 5 Magic Stone along with 1 Energize, has a Tama and a Divine Bird, but those 2 cards alone won't be enough, especially for damage output. At the moment, he only done like what, 800 damage, and that's not a lot. As long the game prolongs any longer, and if Adam able to flood the field with a lot of elves, he is gonna be in a lot of trouble. Paying 3, dropping another elf on the battlefield, and I believe that's the producer that are able to produce 2 elf tokens. But in comes the Otherworld Dreams, cancelling out the elf. But let's see if Adam can do a follow-up play. Looks like he'll be dropping the 1-drop elf, but it will still produce 1 token, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it will still produce 1 token, saying that, you know what, I can still apply pressure. Even you cancel out my biggest one, I will still do pressure towards you. Attacking directly for 800 point damage. Instead of taking life point damage, the deck will go to the remove pile. We did saw we did saw Ala to get sent to the remove pile, so he Anthony does have a chance to get a card back. In comes the attack from the other elf Resonator, doing 1000 point of damage, pushing for damage, and obviously flipping the top card of his deck. If it was an elf, then he'll able to add to his hand. If not, then nothing happens. So he's slowly gaining advantages and doing damage output at the same time. Direct hit, milling a lot of cards, a lot of Seven Wind skins sending out the way, remove power along with our worlds. That's not looking too good for Anthony, because Anthony is going to be losing a lot of his cancel cards, and because of that, Adam will win the Council War if that's the situation. So let's see what can Adam do to apply more pressure, and not only what can Anthony do to retaliate back. If he has Final Battle in his hand, he can potentially wipe the field, but let's see what he actually wants to do. I do see 2 True Blades in his hand, but the True Blades at the moment is kind of dead, since he's only going to kill a token and a 1-drop Resonant, which isn't too helpful, especially with 2 big Resonant on the battlefield. So at the moment, looks like Anthony's going to be playing defensively, dropping the addition on the battlefield for more mana ramp to alter the color and so on. So let's see what can Anthony do with a follow play. He's checking his remove pile to see anything he can grab back for the following play, but at the moment I don't think Adam is too worried. Adam has 4 Magic Stone to play with. He has a Spirit Stone, which potentially allows him to draw a card. He can actually hard cast out Severing Winds. He has strong Resonance on the battlefield, along with a J-Ruler, can give barrier to all Elf Resonant, including himself as a J-Ruler, and pump as well. Rapid Growth in the graveyard, he is completely set. So pushing for damage will be no problem for Adam. The only thing Adam worries about at the moment could be the Final Battle, but we have to see if there's enough counter spell in Adam's hand to prevent the Final Battle from resolving. Before recovery, looks like Adam's going to be using Rapid Growth, pumping up the Resonator, +4/+4, so now the Resonator will be hitting for 5/5 instead of 1/1. Oh wait, no, 1/1. Is it 1/1 or 3/3? I can't remember the stat of the Resonator. When it comes to remembering stats, I cannot remember too much, so bear with me, guys. But it doesn't really matter at the moment because the deck will take the damage anyway, so no life point adjustment required unless Anthony pays for the life points. Attacking directly, hitting the Nameless Mist, great card for full turn. If he really wants to draw into it with a card like the Spirit Stone, so he can get some hand control. Declaring block, drawing card. So yeah, at the moment Anthony's playing very defensively because he needs to defend against most of the attack. If not, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. At the moment he's going to use the Spirit Stone, and yes, sacrificing Spirit Stone and drawing the card he needs, and hitting a lot of Final Battles in his hand. I think that's 3 Final Battle in his hand. So Adam's like, whoa, that's a lot of Final Battles. Hopefully I have enough Cancel Spell to stop it from happening. And he got rid of the I can't remember what the card calls. I think the one that drains life and gains life. I think that does 1,000 life gain and destroys a Resonate on the field. I think that's the card. I can't remember on top of my head. Attacking directly with the Elf, taking it looks likely. Nope, getting blocked by the Tama. Attacking directly with the token and getting blocked by the Tama. Before recovery, not before attacking with the J-Roll, but in comes the Razard. Blocking very big at the moment. Let's see how big it is. He gains 200 or 100. I think he gains 200 per card remove in his remove pile for Resonators anyway. Paying 1. Rapid Growthing, wow. So pushing a lot of damage. And he does have 1 Floating Green Wheel. Yes, he does have Floating Green Wheel. Still, because he didn't use the Spirit Stone to tap for Wheel. Maybe Adam forgot about it. So let's see. Adam has a lot of cancel spells in his hand, so it looks like the game is pretty set into Adam's favor, just for the fact that he can protect himself really easily. Razard paying 200 life points, a total of 400, removing the 2 residents from his graveyard to make it a bit bigger. But Adam's like, you know what, you pump, I'll pump as well, using my J-Rule's ability to pump it an additional 400, 300, but he remembered he does have a floating wheel, saying, you know what, I'll use my Rapid Growth instead. I'll pump it up. You have Severing Wind? Then sure, completely fine. That's 1 Severing Wind less for me to worry about. So at the moment, the Faerur is sitting on 12-14, I believe. Yeah, 12-14. Fairly big and more than enough to Oko out the No, I'm wrong. His Faerur is sitting more than that. It's sitting on actually 8 plus 8, 16. So it's sitting on 16, 18 at the moment. So let's see what can actually he do. What can he actually do? Looks like the Resonator gets killed. Yep, gets killed. And passing turn. Not looking too good for Anthony at the moment. Anthony needs to find a way to actually close this game very soon, because the longer the game goes, not great for Anthony. Because yes, even though the tree deck is a very late game type of deck, but Adam's deck is a very heavy damage output type of deck, so your deck will not survive unless he has like Artemis Foresight to prevent it from happening and so on. Other than that, it's gonna be quite hard for Anthony to get this around. He's looking at the final battle. He's trying to see if he can nuke the battlefield. So yeah, Anthony does have a lot of cards in hand. He's been conserving cards in his hand for resources, while Adam doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, but he does have damage output, which is very important. I'm not sure if Anthony even sided in Artemis Foresight against Adam. If it did, that would be great against him. In comes the final battle. Looks like he knocked something over. Yep, he knocked something over. Looks like we have some technical difficulties over here. Looks like Anthony broke something. I'm kidding. He didn't break anything. I think he just lost the cable of one of the iPad or something on this line, and it caused a malfunctioning onto the light point system. But luckily for me, I am editing this and I still have the light point with me. I'm a-okay. Looks like he's paying for final battle, but how much is he paying for? That's the question. Yes, we do have some technical difficulties at the moment. Do not worry too much. Yep. Technical difficulties right now. And the judge is trying to fix that, and there we go. It should be fixed now. Let's see what he will be paying for. Let's see. What can let's see what can Anthony do now. He's thinking about his life point, how much to pay. Now, final battle is quite a tricky card to determine, because again, if you pay too much life and you kill the whole field, but if your opponent can retaliate next turn to kill you, can be a lot of trouble. So final battle for me, I believe, is one of those cards that is very tricky. You have to time it correctly. You pay too much, then you overdid it, and your opponent can OHKO you. But you do too little, your opponent has surviving resident on the battlefield, and so on. In comes Otherworld Dreams, and looks like Anthony paid 2,000 life, so he's going to be doing 1,000 point AoE damage, and so on. But let's see what he can do. He could be dropping another final battle, but again, dropping another final battle doesn't really help at all, because he might pay 10 resources, but he doesn't gain the full benefit of paying the 10 resource cost. The X amount for final battle is still X, so it's still considered as a 1 cost. He doesn't really get the full benefit of the wheel back, because he's just paying it from life. So he can pay it as a 10 cost, but however, he's just paying it as a if another final battle comes out, it's a different story. So let's see what can Anthony do now? Now he's asking for a judge ruling. He can drop him on final battle if he can use the same amount of AoE damage, but by the looks of it, no, it cannot happen at all. So the final battle gets knocked out, and in comes the dragon, but in comes the Serwyn, cancelling out the dragon, so not allowing any defense on the battlefield. Now that dragon has a unique ability, so it's a dodge ability, so it's good for in the control matchup. And paying 2, I'm not sure what the card is, but it doesn't really matter. In comes the Serwyn to cancel out the another play, and that's the game, guys. Anthony scoops it up, too much cancel for him to handle. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Peace.